Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the Sunday Pub, where book nerds hang out with book nerds and talk book nerdy things. And we'll probably have some sprints later on. Joining us from the other side of the planet, where it is 4 a.m, because she never sleeps, Nerdy Cat.
Hello, everyone. Hi, Matt.
Good evening, Kath. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good. Good to see you. We've also got from not very far away at all, like a 5-minute flight from Berlin, basically. Carlos Aviolo.
Hello.
In the house for the first time. Welcome to
Yes.
the house.
What an honor.
What an honor. Thank you
Yeah,
for
it should
inviting us.
be.
Also, the only actual pub on BookTube is finally graced by the Irish tubers, right?
So it's officially a pub now.
It's officially a pub.
We've already got Australians, but cheers. It's finally a proper pub.
Cheers. Sláinte.
Not
Yeah.
for me. Not at this time of night. It's 4 a.m. here, so it's a little late. Yeah.
Kathy, you're a crazy person for doing that at 4 a.m.
Yeah.
If you didn't start drinking hours ago, like if you
Yeah,
were
I'm okay.
still drinking,
Right.
that would make sense. But starting drinking
Yeah.
at 4 a.m. is a bad look.
Yeah. Yeah. I
We've
agree
also
with
got
that.
Evie and George. Good to see you.
And George.
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 Very needy.
Yeah. Well, George has been through a lot lately, hasn't she?
Yeah.
And it's a very international pub this evening.
Anita.
We've got a Canadian Indian, or is it an Indian Canadian, or whatever? Indian in Canada. Slumpy Smurf herself, Anita.
Hello. I am not in slump anymore. We need to change my name.
My name could be Slumpy Smurf now. I have been reading so little in the last month or two that I'm probably taking over your weird little Smurf hat that looks like a condom. I'm a bit slumpy Smurf myself lately, unfortunately.
I transferred my slumpiness to everyone.
Yeah, thanks very much for that. I really appreciate it.
You are welcome.
Yeah.
I finally got rid of it after struggling for like a year now.
Yeah, with friends like these, who needs enemies?
Everyone, just read Claudius the God. It'll cancel out this slump.
Yeah.
Is that what does it?
It's what
It's what
causes
created beneath this slump, but if you're in a slump, if you read it, it has a an opposite effect. You're already in a slump.
Okay.
I don't
All right.
believe you.
So it's like a
I'm
double
not
negative.
convinced either. I'm
Yeah,
totally not
me
convinced. I can tell you what doesn't do it is this book.
How far into it are you? Oh, never
I'm
mind.
about
Yeah.
halfway. So I mean, I'm getting through it, but I think I said it last time. Like,
3 thumbnails or 4 thumbnails, same book.
yeah, it's been a while. Yeah, you can count my reading in thumbnails. Like if you look at the pub thumbnails, I've had Return of the Crimson Guard in my hand in those thumbnails for far too long. It's good. It's just it hasn't really
Grabbed you.
pulled me in. Yeah, I've been playing video games a lot more than reading lately.
Wait.
So
It's
Is
a
it your
reread,
first
though.
read?
no, it's not a reread.
We
Just
are on sync today.
Yeah, exactly. No, Malazan Book of the Fallen is a reread, the 10 books, but this is outside of the 10 books. This is one of the Esselmont books, and I haven't read any of the Esselmont books before. Well, Knight of Knives, which is his first Malazan book I've read, but none of his chunky, like Knight of Knives is like a third the size of this. This is over 1,000 pages. Thank you, Mr. Esselmont.
Did you like Knight of Knives?
I did. I've kind of got to say I mostly liked it for like the extra background and lore that it contains.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't find it amazingly well written, but it was also his first Malazan book, or first published book at all, I think. So it's not surprising. This is well written, better written, I would say, than Knight of Knives, but it's damn, like I didn't think anyone would make me think. After Erickson, I didn't think anyone would make me think I don't know what's going on,
Right.
but Esselmont's managed. there is a lot of I'm not sure what's going on, but yeah. Let me say hi to the chat. I'm a bit behind. Christian.
Yeah, hi everyone in the chat.
Alicia's here, as almost always. Thornall's here. Alicia's here. Britton's here. Ida's here. Terry's here. Lots of usual suspects. There we go. We've actually got some Irish people on the road. You should feel right at home, or they should. I don't know. Jeroen's here. We're not going to have any Dutch people on the screen, Jeroen. Sorry. I'm never going to do that. Dutch people. Okay,
I would attempt a really bad and probably offensive Dutch accent, but I'll not do that. So.
I appreciate it. You have
I
my
would
thanks.
advise against that.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. It's funny because the book I'm reading, it has like instead of England, Dutch is ruling the world actually.
Oh,
Preparation by Ian Trigillis for anyone.
Yeah, Alchemy was series name by Ian Trigillis. So Dutch is ruling the world, and they have these mechanicals, the technology. They're like similar to robots, so they are very powerful. So using them, they conquered the world. Except French. French ran away and now living in like Quebec. That's the only one opposing the empire now.
okay. That's, I think, the last thing any of us want is the Dutch ruling the world.
I like the sound of that book.
It sounds interesting. Yeah.
It is good, especially the third book, because the POVs we got like one of these mechanicals, because they want freedom. They felt like it's slavery. It was slavery, obviously, but the Dutch is looking at them as like tools, not sentient
people.
beings,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah.
So we get the Dutch POV and we get the mechanical POV and we get the French POV, like how what these different POVs want. It is like amazing discussion actually. It makes us think.
Cool.
All right. Nice.
And if you want to not put it on your TBR, it's an Alan book / read along. So
He sold me on it on his wrap up when he talked about it. I thought, this sounds so good. I've got to read it. So it's on my TBR. Yeah.
Alan and I are on different sides for the first time. In book 2, one of the POV is French. Alan likes that POV. I don't like that POV. So
Alan loves the French, confirmed.
No, I mean, so see, in Alan's POV, French are like opposing this empire, right? So he looks at that person also. He looks at that person as like good POV. For me, both Dutch and French are like treating these people as slaves. So I oppose both of them. So that way, it's different.
Mitch trolling as usual.
So
Hey,
fun
Pete.
fact, real quickly, you can't have me without Anitha and Pete. You can't have Anitha without me and Pete. You can't have Pete without me and Anitha. We're a package deal. Apparently.
I'm pretty sure we proved that wrong last week because Anitha turned me down.
Because I was sick. I was sick. I said I was sick.
Sure.
She flat turned me down. She said, "Fuck no, I don't want to be on the pub." Are you kidding?
No one believes that because I don't talk like that.
Sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
It's the spirit of what you said. People know that is the spirit of how you speak. It's maybe not the words that you would speak. Anyway, Anitha's here. Now we have a nice round. Six.
I had to complete it out and do like a rough.
Yeah, there was a gap
angle.
there. We knew
Yeah.
Pete-shaped gap. So, has anyone
Also-
other than Pete and I played Disco Elysium?
No, don't even know what that is.
It's amazing. You would love it. It's about an alcoholic detective.
Great.
It's about an alcoholic detective. You play an alcoholic detective.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
What's the name of it again?
Disco Elysium.
All right.
Yeah, it's
Why
unique-
disco?
Why not?
Is it an
Yeah.
old
Why
kind of
not?
style of? Yeah.
Because it's disco. I'm sorry, I'm being
Well,
obtuse.
disco was dead.
Yeah, well, this
Looks like epic fantasy.
this
is a
cop
theme.
is close to dead as well, or at least can be. Yeah, it's a whole thing.
Is this
Basically-
just a PC game, or can one get this on PS5?
You can get it on PS5.
Yeah, I played it on Xbox. Yeah, it's
Yeah, you can get it
console-friendly.
anywhere.
Yeah, it's really bizarre.
Oh,
it's a pretty unique
also,
video game.
if you're gonna get it on PC, I'm pretty sure it's still in a Humble Bundle right now, which is probably the better way to
right.
get it because that means less profit is going into the company's hands, which is great.
Thornall, I did not play Disco Elysium recently. I played Disco Elysium a few years ago, and then played it again last year. But I just happen to know that Pete and I are huge Disco Elysium fans. Also, Brian Bell. We have to have a pub with the three of us, but only the three of us, and nobody in the chat probably, because who wants to hear three nerds go on and on about an awesome video game that they've never played?
That's the basis of the internet, man.
But yeah, it would just attract different kind of nerds, I think.
Pete, I'm not sure if you got the memo. Vampires should not sit under sun. Okay.
What?
I
Who's
appreciate
the
that.
vampire?
That seems like a non sequitur. Oh, what? Wait,
Are
why
you
is
the
he a vampire?
vampire,
I'm
Pete?
confused.
Fred the vampire accountant? Okay.
Anitha knows something we don't.
I mean,
There's a book called Fred the Vampire Accountant. It's a self-published like humor book. That's like fantastic. That because I'm an accountant, I'm obviously Fred.
Yeah, you're.
Or
And
at least
there are-
obviously a vampire.
there are also
vampire,
other reasons, but it's a theory that Pete is a vampire and he's also shining right now.
I mean, is this even sun? Do you know if it's the sunlight or not?
Exactly. He could just be sparkling. Don't vampires sparkle?
Eh,
I heard that like this generation's vampires, they sparkle. They're not horrible monsters. They're sexy, sparkling people.
You.
That's from like 15 years ago, to be fair, which is
Yeah,
oh God, 15 years.
that's maybe a generation ago.
Yeah, but when you're my age, like everything
They all
is
blur
about
together.
kids. Yeah, exactly. Them kids.
Kathy, what are you reading?
I finished
Kiwi, I'm about
Hyperion
to ask,
today.
what are you all reading? You know,
Now I'm reading this. Is it backwards? I can't.
It is.
tell.
I'll
it is.
flip you over. Don't worry.
Okay.
There we go.
Ooh, hello.
The
Mystery of Three Quarters.
Okay.
It is Sophie Hannah, who has been authorized by the estate of Agatha Christie to write more Poirot books. Because I
Oh,
need
okay.
more Poirot. I've read them all, and I've got a few of them, and I'm reading it in between other fantasy because I'm reading so much fantasy. I'm needing something different. Because next is Told the Hounds. I'm reading it once I finish this. I cannot wait. Yeah.
It's
I'm
such
so
a book.
excited.
Is that book 4
Yeah.
or 5?
Toll the Hounds is
This
8
or Toll the
7
Hound?
8
Oh,
I
Toll the
think.
Hound. Sorry.
Yeah.
8.
It's number 8.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm
Yeah.
nearly finished. Yeah, I'm nearly finished.
Yay.
Can't wait.
K2 is asking. K2, they are in Dublin, which is an hour ago. They have time traveled to our past.
Yes.
And they an hour ago it was also light here. It's getting to be springish.
It's like the world turns.
Today it was like 20 degrees outside, which I was just like, I didn't know what to do with that.
Yeah, this week has been like 20 degrees in Dublin, which does not happen in April.
Very
No.
unsettling.
Yeah.
It was actually 31 degrees Celsius today, and we are
Beautiful.
mid-autumn. It is the hottest, I think, April we've had. I mean, it's crazy. I was wearing a jumper last week, and I had the heater on, and today I'm like sweltering. So
31
it's
degrees
crazy.
is my natural height.
I am waiting for it to be 20 degrees. Like when
Yeah.
It
Well,
was.
you are in Canada. We're in Australia, and we get really hot sometimes.
Although
31
Melbourne is
mid-autumn.
like
yeah,
this is the reason I would never live in Melbourne. I lived in Sydney. Like in Melbourne, it actually gets cold, like proper cold.
Yes.
In winter,
yes,
it can get
we're really influenced. Well, climate change has really affected it. We're actually having humidity, which we never did when I was growing up or in my 20s. And the weather is definitely unpredictable. It's a lot closer to Sydney weather now, so you might
Okay.
like it.
all right.
But personally, I like the cold. I like it to change. I like having different seasons.
I like
Everyone
it to
gets
change from
Or
hot
the
to really fucking hot, and then back to hot.
no,
You know,
No.
I'm good with that kind of range. But like
Yeah.
cold, I'm not a fan.
Yeah, I don't dig the cold. I like
no.
Yeah, well,
Is
it's a
it
good thing you live
where you
in
guys
Ireland
are?
where it's always warm. Yeah,
Does it get really cold? Do you
That's
get
a
snow? 'Cause
smart
we don't get
idea.
snow.
Ireland is very boring. It's very like middle of the road. It doesn't get super cold. It doesn't ever get super hot.
I think it sounds perfect, not boring.
Mm.
I
Well, we
don't
don't get
like.
snow. We rarely get below 0 in Melbourne.
Yeah.
We got
So,
snow
I don't
even
know what
last
Matt's
week.
saying.
We got snow
Sorry, what was that?
yesterday,
Yeah,
and it was
gosh.
like in the 70s. I don't know what that is in non-freedom units.
The 70s is
Last
like
week.
20 something, 22.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we got snow yesterday.
Wow.
No.
Yeah.
it was in the 20s, in the 70s, and you got snow.
No,
Yeah,
last
that's
week it was in the in
Okay,
the
so
20s,
yeah, all right.
and then
all right.
yesterday we got snow.
It's weird season actually. Even in
Awesome.
Canada, we got like we thought winter was over, and then we got snow.
I sincerely hope that doesn't happen here. It could. Like we had snow this winter a little bit, but I'm so over it. I despise winter. I
Same.
just hate it.
Same.
Especially
I
because like I used to live in Washington DC in the States, and when I was a kid anyway, it's not the case so much anymore, but when I was a kid, winter was a meter deep snow. Like my grandparents took photos of me as like an 8-year-old shoveling their sidewalks because you could only just see the top of my head. I was like shoveling a tunnel through snow that was that deep, you know. And I was like, that's actually kind of cool. Like if it's like really extreme and you get snow and ice and all that sort of stuff, like winter in Russia was insane. But winter in Dublin or winter in Berlin is kind of like it's unpleasantly cold, but not like it'll kill you cold.
I've
And it's
only
really,
seen
really dark.
It's gray all the time. Yeah,
Gray
exactly.
all the
And
time.
the sun comes up at like 1 in the afternoon and goes down at like 3 in the afternoon. You
Yeah.
know, it's like otherwise completely dark. It's just
I've only seen the snow, like good snow, 3 times in my life. Once when I was 6 in Dublin. Once when I was like 10, when I was in Spain for Christmas, which that wasn't all that much. It was like a day. And then once, 2018, it snowed here.
Yeah, March. Yeah.
March 2018, randomly it snowed in Ireland, and it was crazy. The country lost its mind.
Yeah.
Those are the only times I've ever seen good snow.
Yeah.
Was
It's the
there
same here. If
limited
it snows
melt and
here,
breath?
like everybody loses their shit as if radioactive fallout is falling from the sky or something.
Yeah.
People don't know how to drive. People just completely lose it and panic.
That's not
And
just Americans in anywhere that's less than Pennsylvania. Less being south.
I mean, that's anywhere. In New England, where people should be used to the snow, anytime there's a snowstorm, everyone freaks out, goes, gets milk and bread. And when they do go out and drive, which is very often, even when people say, the state says, do not drive on the roads, let the plows do their thing, people still go out and drive like idiots.
yeah.
We should just make it so that, like, if you're going to drive on the roads and it hasn't been plowed yet, you're required to have a plow on your car to help the road workers.
You need to be plowing if you're driving. Yeah. Yeah, that would kind of make sense. Now, waiting for the plows. For anyone out there who's dealing with snow, please wait for the plows. It's a really good idea. Like, get some grit and salt and whatever on the road first, and don't drive around until that's happened.
Unrelated, Matt, because this
An
happened.
unrelated Matt, that's me.
Yes. Because I think this happened last week when I was on the pub, or 2 weeks ago. I
What
don't know
happened?
how time works.
George is freaking out again.
She's tweaking out. Like, what is happening with this cat?
It
It's
must-
Matt's
it-
voice.
It
It's
must
Matt's
be
voice.
me.
All our
Yeah, it must be
voices.
me.
Yeah.
Speaking of cats, where's Fitz?
I do that to cats. I don't know where Fitz is right now. I'm kind
Fits.
of curious. She's
I wanna see.
been kind of weird lately because I'm trying to get her onto a food regime which works for me being away for 5 days, which I am next weekend. And
Can you get like an automated feeder thing?
I have an automated feeder thing, but it only does dry food, and dry food has been in the past something that she is in the habit of vomiting up right after she eats it, and it's a whole thing. I'm really kind of tired of it, to be honest. But yeah, she's I don't know where she is. She should be. If I got up and went into the kitchen, that would be the way to find out where she is, because she would also then immediately teleport into the kitchen because I might be feeding her. Who knows?
I want to see everyone's cats.
What
I'm
else could I
missing them.
possibly be doing in the kitchen but feeding her?
Show me your cats.
See you,
I'm
Rogue.
just gonna.
Enjoy.
There you go.
I'll
She's
go
probably gonna
grab-
go tweaking out, racing in here at some point because she's just yowling in the other bedroom.
Okay.
Or in the bedroom, I should say.
Oh, there she is.
Never mind.
Let me see if I can find Fitz. I think she's in the living room.
What I was laughing at, by the way, is she had jumped up onto the top of the perch, and mind you, she is a almost 15-year-old cat. She's an older cat, and she just started meowing and going crazy, and she just launched herself from the top and almost like landed almost right by my chair. Bilbo, NPC.
Come here.
Bilbo's not going to be here.
She's grumpy because one of her spots
She
now.
is gorgeous.
She's totally not
They're all
gorgeous right now.
gorgeous.
She's super grumpy. What are you doing to me? Do I have to? One of her favorite spots now is on the floor, in the corner, under the heater, and that's where she's
Yeah.
hiding.
Oh,
Okay.
she's so good.
We are getting a
She's so big.
She is pretty big. She's not huge. Like, there are definitely bigger Maine Coons, but she's female and she's still growing. So yeah.
How old is she now?
About 3. They keep growing until about 4.
Ah,
She is now 6.5 kilos, which is 14 pounds, which is
yeah.
big for a cat, but not big at all for a Maine Coon. Male Maine Coons will get up to 14 or 15 kilos,
Phew.
which is crazy. That's a
Yeah, but
medium-sized
they'll be much
dog.
bigger. But they'll be much bigger as well. Being
Oh yeah,
male.
yeah. Much bigger, twice as long. Yeah.
Well, my puppy, because she's still a puppy at 20 months, she's already 37 kilos.
She's big enough.
And she's still growing.
Yeah.
Good God.
And she's still growing.
For
Yeah.
anyone who doesn't know, Nerdy Cathy has a German Shepherd.
Yeah.
It's not an abnormally monstrous dog. It's like
No. I should have
dog.
mentioned it. She's a German Shepherd, but she's
Yeah.
the biggest one I've ever had. And she is, very big.
Yeah. Yeah, it's completely changed. Like having Fitz has completely changed my concept of cats. Like whenever I see anybody else's cat, my first thought is they're sick. Like, what's wrong with your cat? And why did you cut its ears down? It's just I've gotten so used to like this is just what cats look like. They're this big, aren't they? No.
No.
Mostly they're not.
No.
Yeah.
No. You don't see many Maine Coons in Australia either. There are some around.
They're not that
but you
common
just
here
don't
either.
see them very often. Yeah.
I haven't run into that many people who have one here. I know that they're a big scam in America. Of course, I'm on a Maine Coon community on Reddit, and the most common post on the Maine Coon subreddit is, "Here's a photo. Is my cat a Maine Coon?" And everyone going, "No, your cat is not a Maine Coon. Your cat is fluffy, but absolutely, definitely not a Maine Coon." Because so many people, like Maine Coons are expensive. I got her really cheap because she was a breeding queen who had to be neutered. So the breeder couldn't do anything with her anymore. So she sold her for cheap. Usually, if you buy like a purebred Maine Coon, you're looking at like sort of starts at $2,000. So a lot of people are being sold $2,000 cats and told that they're Maine Coons, and they're just not. They are absolutely, definitely not Maine Coons. It's a whole thing. Yeah.
$2,000. Oh my God.
Yeah, I didn't pay anywhere near that. Like I said, Fitz was a no longer useful breeding cat. So I got ooh, heard that. George isn't happy.
What did you do, Evie?
I
Yeah.
fed her the wrong way.
How dare
A
you?
little bit too much.
How
much
dare
love.
you.
It's kind of a constant like, how dare you pet me? How dare you not pet me? It's going to be one or the other.
Yeah.
Much
That'll
like
get 'em
going
pissed off.
outside a door and then being let back in. It's Schrodinger's cat, like for everything.
How dare you feed me and then stay in the kitchen?
Yeah.
How dare you feed me and not fucking leave immediately? Like either one can get Fitz completely pissed off.
So this is the highest selling point for if you want a cat.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, but they're so
Exactly.
much fun. They're so much fun.
They are.
They're
They're-
very
they're
different to dogs.
good
That's what I
companions.
like about them. I love
Yes.
dogs, but I do love cats as well.
I'm the same. I like both. Just because we have two cats, people always ask me, "Oh, do you not like dogs then?" I'm like, "No, I
I didn't get cats because I hate dogs.
yeah."
That's because people in Ireland are dog people. Like it's a very dog-focused country. So
is.
when you have a cat, they're like, "Oh, what's wrong with you?" Kind of, like you must hate dogs.
Yeah, it's like we live in an apartment block. It's much easier to have cats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love dogs. I would love to have a dog. I would love to have a really big fuck off dog.
Yes.
Like an Irish wolfhound or something.
Yes.
I had a friend in uni who had a mutant Great Dane. It was like a completely black Great Dane, and the Great Dane could stand on his back legs and put his paws on top of my head, no problem. It's like this massive dog, and I've always wanted a dog like that. But I also don't want to have to walk a dog multiple times a
But
day.
that's really fun. I actually do enjoy walking my dog.
I don't know if I would really mind. It's more the have to at certain
have to.
times.
Yeah.
And I also live in a flat where, like, especially for a big dog, I wouldn't feel that was very nice to the dog. to have them in like a 90 square meter flat.
Yeah.
Where most of the time they spend all their time in there. For a cat, even a big cat, it's totally fine. Like Fitz doesn't care at all. In fact, Fitz definitely doesn't want to go outside.
Yeah.
When the weather gets nice and I sit on my balcony, I leave the doors open. I don't have a screen or anything, and I just leave the doors open. And Fitz will sit there on the floor as far away from the door as possible, but in the same room, and just stare at the door for hours.
Our cats come to the balcony door, the open balcony door, and sit in the doorway and just sort of like every once in a while stick a head out and then go, nope.
Yeah, Bilbo is very skeptical of wind. He doesn't
Your
trust it.
cat
He doesn't like
seems
it.
to be a vampire.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
He's a
exactly.
vampire.
There is sunlight out there. I'm staying right here. Yeah, Fitz is the same way. Fitz is like, okay, there's a really, really big room on the other side of that door, and I'm not interested in it. I'm staying right here.
My cat used to love going outside. She used to come and lie on the deck when I sat on the deck in the nice weather. She'd lie next to me. She loved her.
I used to have an outdoor cat.
Yeah.
Maggie was primarily outdoor cat, who I eventually figured out was running a protection racket on the entire neighborhood. Because like I was walking down the street one day and Maggie was following me, and these gay guys that lived like 4 buildings down from me, they were like, "Oh, hi, Maggie." I was like, "How do you know my cat's name? She can't talk, and you've never talked to me, so how do you know?" And they were like, "Oh, your neighbors know, you know, we talked, and I actually wanted to talk with you about it. We've been feeding her." I'm like, "Oh, okay. Really? Are you the only ones?" And they were like, "Well, I think the lady between us might also feed Maggie occasionally." I'm like, "Oh, okay, yeah, good." So
Typical cat.
So I was kind of wondering why she was gaining weight, because I don't feed her that much. But
Clearly, you weren't feeding it enough.
Oh, they're never satisfied.
That is what the cat would
Always
say.
till they're sick. Yeah.
I know people who do the like full-time feeding where they just have a bowl of dry food always, and the cat just eats when it wants to. If I did that with Fitz would eat until she exploded, and then she would vomit. And then she would go back to the bowl and continue. You know, like there's no way. I have to feed her like very specific amounts.
Yeah. My cat
at
would.
certain times.
I had no problems, but she would go and eat the dog's food.
You know, for
Like,
a
no
minute,
problem.
I
Yeah,
thought
go
you
and
were
eat it.
going to say my cat eats dogs.
Yeah.
No, no, she'd jump up onto the little crate that the dog food was on and eat it. And my dog would be sitting there. This was my other dog, not this one. And I'd be like, "What are you doing, letting her have the food?" And as soon as I said something, that's when my dog kind of nudged the cat out of the way and said, no, that's my dinner. Yeah.
You're
Crazy
embarrassing
animal.
me.
Yeah, you're embarrassing me.
Get out of the way. So other than cats, we started with what are people reading? What are you guys reading? StoryTube?
I am reading 2 books right now. Let me grab them. I'm reading Damascus Station by David McCloskey.
Let me flip you as well. Everybody is apparently mirrored. Yeah, there we go.
There we go. Damascus Station, which is a political thriller about the Assad regime in Syria. It's a CIA analyst goes over to like recruit an informant, a Syrian informant, and she's working for the regime, and they fall in love, and it's very good so far.
Nice.
And
It
then
sounds like a Russia House film.
I haven't.
Which I haven't seen.
Kind of. With Sean Connery and Michelle Pfeiffer.
Oh, nice! I gotta watch that. I'm also
Yeah, you
reading
should.
this. There we go.
Oh,
French,
yeah.
not French. Okay.
Which
That
is
was-
the second book in this series.
Have you been watching The White Lotus?
We only watched the first episode of season 3, so we're not caught up.
Okay.
You didn't start with season 1?
Well, we've watched
the first 2 seasons.
I'm messing. the way you said it, I was like, wait, what?
The way you said it, I was also like, why would you start with season 3? Like that's
Well, they're all different stories, so you could.
You can.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, cool.
There are little connections, but mostly they're sort of standalone seasons.
Yeah.
But they're one of the style things in the show is everybody in the show is always reading a book. Like you go to their bedroom and there's a bedside table book. You go out to by the pool and their characters are sitting back and everybody's always reading a book, and it's very conscious choices what books that character is reading, because it says a lot about them. And that book, one of the characters in I think chapter 3 in season 3 was reading that book.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. Very cool. That's interesting.
I'm not sure what it was meant to say about that character. I'm only a couple of episodes into season 3 as well.
Well, it's about a character that comes back to a small Irish town saying that I heard a story over in England that there's a lot of gold buried in the mountains here, so we're all going to go dig for it. And he kind of convinces the whole town to get in on this possible scam. That's what it's about. So gold digging.
Gold digger, right. Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
I reckon that's probably the symbolism there.
Yeah, makes sense. Although I think the character reading it was Guy, and gold digger is usually a label put on a woman, but who knows? I don't know what they were thinking. What are you reading, Yolanda?
I'm reading The City and the City.
Oh, cool.
Oh, China Malcolm.
Yeah. I'd read his nonfiction October earlier this year, but none of his fictions. This is my first fiction book by him, and I'm about 120 pages in, so not that far. It's very I don't want to say strange, but it's unique. And I picked
strange. Go ahead and say strange. It's fucking strange.
I picked it up because I was told that I was chatting to Jimmy, and we were talking about Berlin and like what Berlin is like because of its history, and he was like, hey, that's The City and the City. I think that's based on Berlin, which is why I picked it up. It's very good.
I read City and the City a long time ago, but I live in Berlin, so I should probably reread it now that I know something about Berlin.
Yeah, I lived in Berlin for 9 months.
Cool.
It was like early college days, and I've been a couple of times. I love it. So you can definitely see the inspiration. Like obviously, Berlin was separated by a wall, very like literally, whereas this is like kind of on top of each other. The two cities like in one place.
Right.
It's very, very cool. I'm enjoying it.
Okay, cool. Where in Berlin did you live?
Oh, like outside. I was in Zehlendorf.
Zehlendorf. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, that is not very close to where I live.
No, I was the only apartment building surrounded by really nice big houses. So it was very obvious that I had the least money out of everybody in the neighborhood. It was like a studio apartment. But
over there, she's poor.
Yeah, literally, yeah. But it was close to the metro station, so I had like a direct connection to like.
Right.
Yeah.
Have you read? Well, first of all, is October as angry and communist as I expect it is?
Probably. It's very good. It's like divided, like it's 10 chapters, I think. It goes February to October of 1917, and like each chapter is the like events of 1 month in that year. But it gives you like context of what led up to it, and then like a bit of like what comes after, basically. But I mean, obviously it's nonfiction. There's a lot of names thrown around, but it's written very accessibly and very engagingly, I found.
Yeah.
So I really liked it. Yeah.
He's. Have you read like Perdido Street Station and any of the sort of medieval classics?
I have not, but he's very
Ah.
high on my list for fantasy this year. We'll see.
The Baslag trilogy, they're very good. They're very, very good. I mean, back in the day, I don't know if I wouldn't necessarily say it's still the case, but when Perdido Street Station came out, I think I read it the year it came out, and I was like, there isn't currently anything like this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, it was just a certain kind of weird and fantasy, but not at all like medieval European style, and it was steampunkish, but not really steampunk, and there's magic, but not really, and you know, it's really good, really, really good. And he's just a super smart dude, no question, and puts really interesting ideas in his books.
Yeah, I'm in the mood this year, I think, for some different kind of fantasy, like not any specific type of different, just anything that isn't your traditional farm boy versus evil lord, which is fine. I like that. It's cozy. I like fantasy, but
Yeah,
I'm in the mood for something just creative, different kind of perspectives. And so, yeah, Perdido Street Station is very high.
I can translate for Evie if you want.
Would there be spears?
I'm just trying.
And some water.
If I can
There's water
get it
and
into your
beer or something?
subconscious, you know.
Yeah.
Something
Yeah.
cutting, something water.
Yeah.
Sword.
I'm going to be reading that soon.
Rude.
Yeah.
What is it with cats and chewing on metal? Like
I
I
think
don't.
it's a Fitz thing.
No, it's not. Apparently,
No.
I mean, it is a Fitz thing. It's totally a Fitz thing. But I know of. I have other friends who have cats that love chewing on metal. She chews on water faucets. She'll go into the bathroom, jump in the sink, and just sit there chewing on the tap. I don't understand. I'm always like, you're gonna break your teeth, but she doesn't seem to care. And she was just like, my light stand here has
Maybe she's
knobs. Maybe her teeth seem to be there, and she's old enough. She's fully grown-ish. But anyway, yeah. Don't make fun of Evie. She also likes when birds vanish.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you just flip yourselves again?
Did you flip?
Yeah, did you flip us on purpose earlier?
I flipped you on purpose because
you did. Okay.
when you're mirrored, you can't read the cover of a book. It's backwards.
Cool.
So-
And leave us like that. I thought that was a glitch. I was like, what happened?
I can
No,
put
this
it
is
back.
fine. You can
That's
mirror us.
Man, that's what?
As far as I'm concerned, though, Carlos is always the one that's on the left.
Is that where I am now?
No.
Oh my god, I'm so dyslexic.
Yes.
I don't know how Yolanda does this deep voice, but you are currently on the right.
I'm gonna mess around with this now.
That's not it.
How do I do this?
There.
Oh no! Oh my god!
Oh.
Is anyone in the chat or on the screen an epileptic?
Oh my god, I'm so sorry.
Do I need to get my may contain
May cause epilepsy.
may
May cause
warning,
epileptic
photosensitive
seizures.
viewers? Yeah.
Is this now how we usually are in our videos?
Yes. Right?
No.
Yeah.
The other way.
No, the
The
other
other
way.
way.
Yeah, you're usually on the other
Yeah,
side.
you're usually on the right. Well, the last video you did, you're on the right.
I'm so
Because I
confused.
did watch the video.
I think it's just the way that you guys are sitting. So it's actually, yeah, whatever. Anyways, you
It's
guys are
fine.
backwards right now. If you held up a book, the word
Just-
would be backwards.
Just don't hold up any books, whatever you do.
Cool. We're done holding up books. We're good.
we're done with books.
Evie, it's your turn. What are you reading? I think.
Yeah,
What are you reading, Evie?
So I literally have 5 pages left of The Fifth Elephant.
Oh,
by
cool.
Terry Pratchett.
Nice.
5
And then-
pages.
I am reading Signs Preceding the End of the World by Yuri Herrera. And Carlos and Yolanda, I've decided Yuri Herrera is probably the only writer that I could be like, yeah, crime fiction, baby.
You haven't really tried any other crime fiction, Evie.
Yeah, she has.
You DNF Dennis Lehane.
Well, she tried.
Yeah,
And-
but
Unsuccessfully.
Not
but she
really.
failed.
Don Winslow. So there you go.
how much Don Winslow did you actually read?
Like 2 paragraphs. So
Is that the one who wrote The Power of the Dog?
yes.
Yes.
I thought I was bad. Like my rule is kind of like I'll give a book 200 pages.
That's
That's
like
very generous.
very fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to like I have read books that in the first 50 pages were kind of garbage, but got better. So I'm like, if you can't manage to write something good in 200 pages, you're wasting my time.
See, Evie, that third paragraph could have been a banger paragraph.
Exactly.
I know it's definitely
And the 5th paragraph, man. Oh my
Really
God.
missed it.
Oh, Nobel laureate
Ooh.
level 5th paragraph.
What a paragraph. It's one of my favorite
I have a
paragraphs.
question. I have a question about Lehane and Don Winslow. I know they're crime fiction. I'm not so much into thrillers as such. Like I like dramas or
It's all right.
things
They
like
write
that.
boring crime fiction.
Yeah, we're not really into thrillers either.
Not thrilling at all.
So would you say that they are more crime fiction dramas rather than thrillers?
Yes.
Cool.
We actually we don't really like traditional thrillers that you would see if you're going into a bookshop and there's a thriller section. I don't actually read a ton of that, to be
The
honest.
kind of stuff
Same.
that's on the spinning rack in the
Yes.
airport.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
I've read it many years ago and decided it's really just not my thing.
But I mean, we were talking on the fireside recently, Kath, and you really like Justified, which is a crime
love
drama. Although
Love
I just noticed in the credits, it's based, the whole 5 seasons is based on a short story by Elmore Leonard.
Oh.
Cool.
I guess just the character was kind of created for a short story and never followed through on.
I thought he wrote some books on it as well, not just the short story.
Maybe it's
but I
just a
couldn't-
licensing thing. Like they paid for the character out of the short story. Anyway, in the credits it always says based on a short story, Fire and something. I forget what the short story is called, by Elmore Leonard. And then they made up the rest of the show based on what was in the short story. I don't know.
There's a difficult thing with like marketing and stuff. I'm sure this happens with fantasy as well. Of like, how do you market something like, to someone who doesn't know, like A Song of Ice and Fire versus Malazan versus A Court of Thorns and Roses. Like those are extremely different books.
Versus The Mechanical.
Versus something like that. Yeah, like an Allen book.
An Allen book.
Yeah.
Tower of Babel.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's one of the things that we've talked about, at least on one of the live shows, is that the concept of the mechanical is so like different from a lot of things. Like you could say, oh yeah, there's these hints of rebellion within like the Clackers and the French fighting against the Dutch. But like it's not as traditional as like some of the more recent stuff. Like it doesn't really like line up with like your traditional rebellion story at all.
Yeah.
Even up through book 2, which I've finished. And the Clacker, like it really dives into like free will stuff and some other things that like I feel like are hard to advertise as, oh yeah, cool. By the way, this is a thing that you want to read, right? I don't know, just the entire series just feels like a little bit, especially when was it published? Do you remember, Anitha?
2016 is last book, I think. So
Yeah.
around that time, 2014, 15, 16, I think.
Just based on the covers, I feel like that the reason this series wasn't really popular was because the marketing flopped and they didn't know how to market it.
That's, I mean, my favorite example is Tchaikovsky, Guns of the Dawn.
Yeah.
One of his better books. It's a very good book, although I hated the fucking ending. But overall, really good book.
I love the ending.
It's so garbage.
And
No way. No,
it's
no,
so
no, no.
garbage.
You're no way. No. I
Fight.
No,
I
like
didn't
like
like
I was chatting with Adrian
like
about this. I was texting
You
with him and I
told
was like,
him that
dude,
ending was bad. No, I have
Yeah.
to tell him that ending was
I finished the book. I immediately wrote him and I was like, dude, great book. The ending was somewhat abrupt though,
Okay.
and he was like,
I-
well, in that situation, don't you think she would have done that? I was like, what happened? Totally made sense. That the
I-
book ended the next page after it happened was a bit abrupt.
No, no, no. I will bring him out of the blue. I never talk to him other than on here. Out of the blue. Matt
Just
told
to
me
tell
that
him that
he
Matt's
told
wrong.
you this, but he is wrong. It is not garbage. It is the best ending I have ever read. I'm going to
I
do it.
didn't use the word garbage when I was talking
He'll
to the
block
author, by the
me
way.
and he'll block me thinking I'm a stalker.
That is possible, especially if I warn him. Adrian, just in case, if you get a message from a woman called Anitha, she's been bothering everyone on BookTube lately, and I recommend you just block her. Anyway, that was a book where I wouldn't even know how to make a good marketing message for that, because it's like, well, if you like fantasy, you'll probably like it because there's magic, kind of, but not really. I mean, a little bit, but it's really kind of a historical, like, do you like Jane
Romance.
Austen? And would you like Jane Austen if one of her female characters was a soldier and the world had magic? Kind of, but not really. That's kind of the marketing pitch, you know? And it's
military fantasy.
yeah,
'Cause
but it's
I do
not
feel like-
really. It's not that much about the military part.
It's heavily about them. I mean, it's not
It's a
necessarily about the
military. It's a military fantasy where there's not really magic and there's a lot of romance, kind of, but also not really. And like
the thing that I loved the most about Guns of the Dawn is actually the depictions of war and like military.
Yes, thank you.
He goes through, like, you see revolutionary war tactics, you see jungle warfare tactics, you see
what if the French and English
French
decided to
warfare
fight it
tactics, like
for a little bit?
all in this one book. Sorry, Pete, go ahead.
And how propaganda works actually, especially during war, before the war.
Oh yeah.
How countries sell war to their citizens. It's the best example of that. And he also showed the book doesn't end when they win or lose. It actually shows like how those soldiers, what happens to those soldiers after finishing the battle. Like they were out of job, they're injured, and they're poor, they don't have anything. He actually shows that, and I love that.
Ida agrees with you about the end, Anitha, but Ida is famously wrong.
No,
Pretty
she's
much
right
about everything, always.
no, she's right. That is actually the best ending, one of my favorite endings in all fantasy.
Like I said,
No,
I thought that the things that happen at the end made sense. Like that didn't surprise me. The fact that like a pivotal thing happens and then the book ends literally the next page, that surprised me.
You know what?
I was like, "There's no denouement
I
at all."
love that.
I was still in slum that time, but we should have a discussion after that. Read along or budding, whatever is that.
I think that it was a punchy decision. Like I feel like he's sitting there trying to, like, it's one of those endings where it just like makes you think about it and how everything led up to that. So I just felt like it was meant to.
The ending made me think about it, but it made me think, "What the fuck, Adrian?" That was the main thing I was thinking. I was like, "Dude,
Yeah.
What more did you want from it at the end?
Yeah.
A little bit more drawn out.
What did you want from it?
I mean, like a decision like that, what the characters did, has huge impact.
Do you know how we figure out? Do you know how we figure out those impacts? Guns of the Dawn 2.
Well, yeah. If we can convince him. I mean, when he was here, he was saying maybe eventually he would think about self-publishing it if nobody wants to.
We have to keep poking,
bugging him.
Have to keep hassling him until he bows to our will.
So, see, the key is we have to put it on his mind enough that it takes hold and he starts wanting to write it. And once he starts wanting to write it, and it takes hold, he's just going to write it.
He's just going to write it.
Or Or alternatively, hear me out. We just say, hey, name a price, and we crowdfund it.
It's possible. I mean, he is definitely he's one of those authors who he has given up his day job like a long time ago, but he's not Brandon Sanderson, right? So he still needs.
But he still has a crowd of loving fans. Like there's a reason.
Oh yeah, no. But what I mean is
Hugo's
he's still working on contracts, right? It's still important to him to have a contract.
He also has to publish like 4 books a year.
Yeah, I think a lot
At
of
least.
it is I think if we were to kickstart it, he would need a team around him to help him kickstart it.
Yeah.
Because I don't see him doing, because he is so consumed by writing a lot. He would need somebody to help do a lot of that stuff for him.
Kickstarting something. I've got friends who've run Kickstarters. Kickstarting is not nearly as trivial as people seem to imagine. It's a real job. I would not want to do it myself. Elder Race was fun read. Yes, it was. Zach in AK, I guess. That was actually the first Tchaikovsky I read as just sort of a taste test, and I liked it.
I haven't read a bad Tchaikovsky. Everything I have read so far is like top notch. Final Architecture, one of the best trilogies.
Final Architecture is awesome.
Ogres, fantastic novella, second person. And Put Away Childish Things, such a fun take on fantasy, portal fantasy. Everything there. Shadows of the Apt, such a unique world. I mean, world building is like top notch.
So Anita's outing herself as the person who's gonna tie Adrian Tchaikovsky to a bed and force him to die.
She is Tchaikovsky's #1 fan.
Real quickly, before we go on another tangent about whatever pub topic, Pete, what are you reading? Even though I know what you're reading.
I agree with you, Brian. You would.
Dying of the Light by Germ.
Germ.
Nice.
Good old Germ. Yeah, the plan is to finish this today.
I was gonna say what is it?
Self-plug.
Yeah, plug.
We're having a live stream tomorrow night at some point in time that is not coming to my mind right now.
8 p.m. Eastern time.
And what she said, 8 p.m. Eastern time. And read by Kyle. We're all talking about Germ.
Dying of the Light.
I was excited until you said Kyle.
Kyle is great to have a conversation with.
No, he is. I famously, I invited him to my Adrian Tchaikovsky interview stream. I'm kidding, obviously. Cool. What are you reading, Anita? Did you already tell us?
I think you all know. I am reading.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you were the first.
Liberation
so long ago,
by
I forgot.
Yeah. Third book in Alchemy Wars.
How far into it are you?
I have 100 pages left.
Oh, nice.
Should we maybe, since we're all reading, I don't know, books, should we maybe do a sprint?
Sure.
I can quickly finish off this.
Yeah.
Maybe. Like
the funny thing is, I'm actually gonna drop for a little bit. I got Tori Talks is doing a stream, and I gotta sit down and sit and chat for that one.
Tell her the knife in my back is extremely painful.
I will let her know.
And I love her. Tell her that too.
I actually might head off because it's really
because
late
it's 5
here.
in the morning for you. That is unacceptable. You
my God.
I'm going to say good night to everyone. Have a great sprint, and I'll see you guys next time.
Take care,
Hi,
Kathy.
Kathy. It was good seeing you.
Yeah, good to see all of you. Bye.
See ya.
Yeah, if you guys are still on, I'll definitely hop back on. So
no, not invited. Bye.
Yeah, I'm changing the link. Oh, and he just.
Oh my God.
He did.
Wow. Okay.
Or Anita just kicked him out. Surprise! He has weird powers even in here.
Weird mod powers that she doesn't have. So why don't we read until 5:30?
Okay.
Makes sense?
Maybe I can read the last 5 pages in 30 minutes. We'll see.
I think so. I believe in you.
I
totally believe
I
in
don't
you.
believe
5
you,
pages in half an hour?
Yeah, no
Of course
way.
you can read 5 pages in half an hour. Come on.
Her focus is on George anyway. No way.
It's true. This cat is got the zoomies yet again. Oh my God.
So Everybody, please mute yourselves. Don't forget. And see you in half an hour. Hello.
Hello, hello.
Let's get the banner out.
Your belief in me got me through. I finished my book. So,
Yes.
and I read 5 pages of this. So 10 whole pages in 30 minutes. Boom.
I would be very sad and disappointed if you hadn't managed to read 5 pages in half an hour.
I mean, worse things have happened. So,
Yeah. How was everybody's reading?
Good. Beautiful. Yeah.
Interesting. Chadia says she's read 12 Tchaikovsky books. Congratulations. And City of Lost Chances was her least favorite.
oh, Johnny.
I would possibly agree, actually. It was weird. City of Lost Chances I found really strange because it never grabbed me.
Y'all are making me so sad.
I never got to the point, that point when you're reading a good book and you have to put it down, and when you think about it, you're eager to get back to it. You're like, after work or as soon as I can or tomorrow morning when I get up or whatever it is, you're like, I want to get back into that book. I never had that with City of Lost Chances. And yet, the whole time I was reading it, I was thinking, this is really well written. It's really interesting. It's got a funky, interesting structure. I like the characters. Same thing, Anita?
I am showing Marianne my book. What I'm
Oh,
reading.
right. Yeah.
I am just too
Yeah.
lazy to type like Evie.
Yeah, so I was mixed on City of Lost Chances. I was not super bowled over by it. I enjoyed the Final Architecture trilogy much more than City of Lost Chances.
Evie, have you read Children of Time or Dogs of War?
I have not. Final Architecture is the only Tchaikovsky sci-fi I've read. So.
You
Pete
gotta
read
read
both.
sci-fi.
Pete read both.
Dogs of War, I've also read both. Dogs of War, or I haven't read Children of Time yet, but Dogs of War is awesome.
Yeah.
I loved Dogs
I think
of
I'm
War.
gonna do Dogs of War next because Bee Speaker is that the one is that the name of it that comes out this year?
Yeah.
kind of a
Beastspeaker and
continuation.
Bearhead is a continuation, which is already out.
Yeah. Because so I have
Third
both.
one is
Dogs of
Beast
War.
Yeah.
Right.
But I really, really want to read Children of Time. We'll see.
Me too.
It's an amazing book. Children of Time is one of my favorite books, probably.
Have you read Carlos beyond that? Like the other?
No, the Children of Ruin, Children of
Yeah.
Memory? No,
Yeah.
I've just read the first one.
Yeah.
But it is possible my next Tchaikovsky would be, what is that name? City of Last Chances.
Yeah, I'd be interested to hear what you think. It was so weird because it wasn't that I didn't like it or that I even had any real criticisms. It just never really grabbed me and made me really excited to read it. I don't know.
Carlos, if you're looking for next Tchaikovsky, I definitely recommend Final Architecture. I mean, all 3 books. I mean, what he did in that book, fantastic characters actually.
I will
world
sign
building.
that. I will sign up for that as well. Definitely read Final Architecture. I mean, I don't know about Children of Time because I haven't read it, but Final Architecture is very much a somewhat pulpy space opera.
Yeah.
So it might be quite a different thing. But
many people
compared
it. Many people compared it with
Firefly.
Yeah, that's the show.
Firefly or Farscape or those kind of
Advance.
motley crew on a spaceship kind of things, but it's epic. It's super, super cool. You look like you were about to say something, Yellow.
I was just going to say he's been saying for years that he's very excited to read them. Like ever since the first one came out, oh, this looks great. I'm so excited. So just do it.
Just do it. Get off your ass, Carlos.
Yeah, I will. I have all of the first edition hardcovers because I bought them day of release when they
Just
came out.
fucking do it.
Yeah.
You're wearing the wrong T-shirt if you're going to just do it, though.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's a Nike thing, isn't it?
It is.
Oh, what do Adidas say?
You should go change quickly.
Yeah. Is Adidas all or nothing or something like
I
that?
think Adidas is we will bury Puma.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that's the official.
Those
yeah.
those brothers don't get along.
They really don't.
Oh,
No.
they're brothers.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Adidas is called Adidas because the guy's name is Adi Dassler.
Okay.
That's the guy who founded it, and he founded it with his brother, and they had a falling out, and his brother went and founded Puma.
Or you could just pronounce it like a ignorant American, Adidas.
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 If his name was Adi Dassler, then I would, but it ain't.
Hell yeah, it was 80 Daisler.
Adi Dassler and his brother. I'm like so soaked in Southern accents right now. I've been watching pretty much almost nothing but Justified for like a couple of weeks.
Nice. That's a
And
good
it's
tell.
just like these deep Kentucky rednecks all over the
I thought
place.
Justified was based in Texas.
It's all Kentucky.
Oh, okay.
He's a boy from Harlan County. Harlan County, Kentucky. Yep, and they're drinking bourbon and shooting each other and all the things rednecks do.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Yeehaw.
Not that I would want to delay you, Carlos, in starting Final Architecture, but at some point we keep talking about it of reading Tortilla Flat.
Yes. Well, you're reading dungeon crawler shit now, aren't you?
Maybe.
I love you, Carlos, for saying that.
I haven't read them. I have no opinion of these books, but like you want me to read them.
You have no opinion of these books. It sounds very much like you have an
I
opinion of these
haven't read
books.
those books, but I still have strong opinion against those books.
I started reading the first one, and I thought this is basically Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, but in a video game, and it makes me want to play a video game more than I want to continue reading this book.
I don't really like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Then you probably wouldn't like it. It's very Hitchhiker's-like humor.
That's
It's
my
not very Pratchett humor. It's
Evie-
very Hitchhiker's humor.
Evie, have you read Hitchhike? I can't say that, whatever Matt is saying.
I read like a couple of chapters of it, and I just couldn't get into it.
I was a big fan of Hitchhikers back in the day. I loved it. But the main thing with Dungeon Crawler Carl, I think, wasn't the Hitchhiker's humor. For me, the problem I had it with wasn't the Hitchhiker's humor. It was the lit RPG part of it. I was just like, why would I want to read someone describing playing a video game when I could play a video game? Like,
I think we talked about this last week, where my counter argument was like, oh, reading this is giving me the same experience that I have playing video games, like playing Hades or Dead Cells or whatever. So I actually played less video games while I'm reading Dungeon Crawler Carl, because I'm just like, this gives me the same feelings, same brain chemicals that video games does.
I'm not one to knock anything until I try it, and I will try it because I downloaded the audiobook. I will continue to play the bit of, calling it dungeon crawler shit all the time, until I read it. But see, I'm not a massive gamer. I play like one game every couple of years, and I don't want to read a video game. Like it will just feel artificial. I know all books are artificial because it's somebody that made shit up, but I don't know. I don't know. I will only know when I try it. But
a lot of the people I know that really like, well, no, that's not true. I mean, Evie loves DCC, Brian loves DCC, and they're gamers. But
Gary loves DCC, and she's not a gamer.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say, a lot of people I know
okay,
like the book or the books, and they're not gamers.
And I wouldn't call myself a gamer, by the way. I played Dead Cells, Hades, and I've played WoW. That's it. So
yeah, I mean, you're not a hardcore committed gamer. But
I don't even know what any of those are.
World of Warcraft, baby.
You are definitely.
Oh, I know World of Warcraft. Yeah. I didn't know you call it WoW.
But you didn't know it was called WoW. You're definitely not a gamer, Carlos.
Yeah.
We officially inaugurate you into the halls of the non-gamer.
Hell yeah, that's me.
Anyways,
I'm totally a gamer, and I was just like, this is a good description of playing a video game.
Hmm.
Why don't I play a video game?
Yeah, I get
But
that.
it just I had cognitive dissonance the whole time. I was like,
Yeah.
I feel like I'm wasting time. I could be gaming when I'm reading about someone gaming. Like it just felt weird. Anyway,
I was just
Are
gonna say.
you-
I was just
Go
gonna say that
ahead.
I've only at the rate that I've been going, I've been doing like one book a month. So like, I don't.
You're reading one book a month?
Okay.
No, one Dungeon Crawler Curl book a month.
one DCC a month, of course.
How many are there?
7 so far.
7, yeah.
7. Didn't this only come out last year?
That's also a bit suspect to me.
So it was self-published,
Yeah.
and then
It-
started in 2020, I think, or
And then he
2019.
got a proper publishing
Like-
deal, and
Still,
Yeah.
2020 to 2025, so 7 books.
yeah.
And
mean,
8th book is supposed to
Although,
come out.
yeah, I was
in
going to say,
October.
if you like Adrian Tchaikovsky, you can't really diss someone for publishing too many books.
That's very true.
Like
Carlos,
2019.
are
is
you
good stuff.
are you planning to read Budu Kavitas?
Who are you asking?
Carlos, because he read Cicero with us.
I did read Cicero. No.
Okay.
When are you reading Boudica?
This month, people
Oh.
already started.
No, I'm out. I'm reading too many things right now. Because if I start another buddy read while I'm also reading like 3 other books, and then Evie wants to read Tortilla Flat, I'm just never gonna read what I actually want to read. So probably not.
There's no like. I'm just saying it's still on the radar. Like whenever you have time.
Whenever you finish your silly gaming books, we'll do it.
Your silly gaming books.
Sorry. I'm so sorry.
Shit crawler Carl.
Dungeon Crawler Carlos.
I mean,
Actually, yeah, true.
once I
It's your
finish
name, you
this,
kinda have
I
to read it.
could start it. Just saying.
Just saying.
Didn't you just finish book 3? See, you're not waiting a month.
I'm just saying.
When
The
did you
first-
read the first one, Evie?
That's a great question. Let me look at my spreadsheet. Like a
That was
fucking
whenever
nerd.
episode was. You were reading it when we did Jeopardy. So like, was that like February?
Yes. So I read Dungeon Crawler Curl in February,
Yes, Mitch. Yes.
March, the second book, and then I finished the third book. Yeah.
Wait, does Alan think Dungeon Crawler Carl is ass?
I
or
mean,
is Boudica?
it's.
Yes.
I mean, like people are hyping too much, especially in his Discord. Like many people are reading, and they're all like, "Oh my god, I finished book 2. I'm reading back to back. I can't read anything. Oh my god, I finished 7 book. What am I going to do with my life? I am going to restart and start from the beginning again." It's
This
like,
is why Anitha is the loyalist, because she is turning into Alan by hating anything that's popular and that
If-
people
if-
are enjoying.
If more
See-
than 5 people have heard of a book, Alan hates it. So
see, I usually like let things go when people are like overhyping things, but like everyone, oh my god, I finished book 7. I have to restart it. I just restarted it. I'm restarting like 3rd time. I'm restarting like 4th time. I can't stop reading. Like every one of them. So it like did something to my brain and
it
broke
does
me.
seem
This
like
is
a bit of a
how-
cult.
This is how people feel, Anitha, when you
Yeah.
won't shut up about Guns of the Dawn.
Okay.
Fair.
Tell me.
Fair,
First of
fair.
all, I did not read it, Guns of the Dawn. I was supposed to read it along with Matt and others in Fireside, but I did not read. And
I'm just messing with you, Anitha. It's fine.
I know. Okay, fine.
Also, Matt King's comment was absolutely hysterical.
Yeah, that's correct.
I don't know anything about tortilla flats, so I don't get it. But
It's
I
a
assume it's
Steinbeck
not.
book. It's
Oh,
a
that's right. Yeah, yeah. No,
Steinbeck
it's
novella.
maybe definitely not about gaming.
You never know. If
I-
Johnny Boy was alive today, maybe he'd be huge on
He
the
was
list.
he was a visionary thinker, a prophet in his own time. So, yeah, I could read some more Steinbeck sometime soon. I haven't read any Steinbeck. Steinbeck is one of those. It took me years I think this is not uncommon. You have to read stuff in school.
Yeah.
And I went to school partially in America, partially in Australia. And in America, I was forced to read Steinbeck and some Hemingway and some Faulkner and all this sort of stuff. And because you're being forced to read it, it's really hard to realize that they're really good books, you know?
Yeah.
Because, well, first of all, because you're young and idiotic, and you don't know anything about good books. And secondly, because you're being forced to, you know? So it took me years to realize that a lot of things I read in school were really good books, except Catcher in the Rye is still garbage. But pretty much everything else I read was really good. Catcher in the Rye is just torturous bullshit.
I will forever die on the hill that The Great Gatsby is poo.
The Great Gatsby, yeah, it's not great.
Yeah,
it's not awesome. But Sound and the Fury by William Faulkner, I went back and reread it like 10 years, 15 years after school, and I was like, oh my God, this is actually really, really hot, good stuff. And Of Mice and Men and many books that I read in school were actually pretty damn good.
I think my favorite book that I read in school, that I had to read in school, was Atonement by Ian McEwan. That is an excellent book. And I enjoyed it when we read it as well.
Okay.
Great movie.
I don't think I've seen the movie. Is that James McAvoy?
Yep.
Yes, and Keira Knightley.
I have watched that movie.
We didn't read much in my American schools. We didn't read much that was outside of American authors.
Oh yeah.
But I think it was in my Australian schools. One of the things we had to read was Tolstoy, and Dostoevsky. He wrote Death of Ivan Ilyich, right?
That was Tolstoy.
Oh, it was Tolstoy. I'm getting them mixed up. So we read Death of Ivan Ilyich. They weren't going to make us read like the doorstoppers that they wrote, but Death of Ivan Ilyich really stuck with me. Like
I
even
read that
now,
in college.
Yeah, it was so good.
It's a great short
Oh
story.
my God.
Yeah.
One of my all-time favorite short stories. And I really wish that we had read in both schools, both countries, like more people that were not from where we were, you know, a little more diversity, but diversity wasn't really a catchphrase back then. So lots of white men.
I have never read a single American classic. We are all about British classics. You know why?
Of course.
We actively avoided the British classics.
Which is also not that surprising.
Yeah. We handle things differently.
Yeah.
I kind of avoided the American ones. I went to secondary school in Spain. So we read a lot of Spanish classics, obviously, and also South American. Like for my last year in school, I had to read Garcia Marquez. We read Chronicle of a Death Foretold, which is amazing. It's a novella. But in terms of like studying, we read like extracts of a lot of things, and then we read like extracts of like the Russians and like the French. A lot more emphasis on the French than I think in English-speaking schools, which again makes sense.
Yeah.
We read extracts of Ulysses, and I wanted to blowtorch my eyeball.
Yes. I had a reading period where I wasn't reading any of this fluff that people read. No fantasy, no science fiction, right? I had a judgmental period where I was judging my younger self who was super into science fiction fantasy. Mm-hmm. So I was only reading intellectual fiction. Mm. Yeah. For which I'm really grateful, because that got me into Paul Auster, and he's one of my favorite authors of all time. But
and you also read Dungeon Crawler Carl.
I did not. And being judgmental of my younger self, I was like, well, Ulysses is meant to be this really, really difficult classic. I'm going to read it, just at least to be able to say I have. And
how far did you get?
I actually managed to get about halfway through.
Oh, that's
Wow.
impressive.
Like at the beginning, I was like, I'm too dumb to get this.
Yes.
And then about a third of the way in, I was like, no, fuck you, James Joyce. You're an asshole.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what this book is about, is you're an asshole.
Yeah.
You are punking the entire world.
Yes.
And that anyone considers this good just makes me want to scream at the entire world. And yeah, I pushed on for a while to see if like maybe there was sort of a if it was all like he admitted that it was all kind of a joke at some point or something. No, it's just garbage.
I'm convinced that he was taking the piss out of the entire world, literary community with that book. But I do think some of his short fiction is quite readable.
Dubliners is good, yeah.
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 But yeah, we certainly sample that in school. We read a lot of.
You'd kind of have to, wouldn't you?
Yeah, we read all the Irish, classic like Oscar Wilde and all these people. We also read a lot of books, even Irish language books about like misery and death and famine and
awesome.
Colonialism and everybody dies and all of that.
That's why Irish people spend so much time in the pub.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
You need cheering up.
Quite accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tend to agree with Liam. Modernism is just taking the piss in general. Yeah. I studied art, like fine arts. I studied painting, and before I met lots of artists and realized they're all assholes, they're all starving. Everybody who runs a gallery is an asshole who isn't starving. They're just living off the backs of artists. And then I switched to design because I wanted to make money. But and I've always been a fan of people who can actually paint in painting. And then when you start studying modern art, you realize that most of it is just people who couldn't actually paint. And we're kind of taking the piss out of the entire art world in general. And it's always pissed me off. I've always been more of a fan of older things when people really still could paint and that was valued in art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I might agree. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure there's like, that kind of approach that might work.
Duchamp was a massive troll. There was I had a very, very cool art teacher, Richard Carlyon. May he rest in peace. And he was such a cool guy. He went to Carnegie Mellon University, and his roommate was Andy Warhol, right? So before Andy Warhol was anybody, like he was just an art student, And my Richard Carlyon was one of the coolest art teachers, and he actually went to an exhibition, which was I think a recreation of something that Duchamp did, and it was the opening of it was this big fancy art gallery with wine and black tie only, and all of these really fancy, wealthy people were invited. And when you come in, the first room has the wine and everything, but then you have to go into the next room, and the next room is strung with strings everywhere. And way far away on the wall at the end of the room, there's like a sign, but you can't read it from where you are. So all these fancy people in their tuxedos, ducking under and trying not to spill their champagne and all of that. And when they go into the room, there's a couple of steps up. So there's like a raised floor.
Mm-hmm.
And when you get to the other end, there's a sign, and it's about this big, and it's got little words on it. And it says, "The artist is under the false floor of this room. When he heard your footsteps, he began to masturbate."
Okay.
That's the art piece. And everybody had to act like this was genius.
Yeah.
Of course, because famous artist and everything. It was amazing. Duchamp did some really, really cool stuff. there's a point. I mean, I actually studied art history, so there is actually a point where people started getting away from representational art, and there is a period in there which I find very valid. Like they were reacting to something in their past, in the past of the art world, which was valuable at the time, but nobody ever moved on from there. And it just became like a friend of mine in Hamburg studied art, and she invited me to the art school's end of year exhibition. And this is the best of people in the art school. And I walked around, it took 5 minutes. I walked around and I was like, is there anyone actually doing anything good in your class? And she was like, no, not really. She was a photographer. Like the photography stuff was actually cool. But the painting, oh my God. Wow. It's all just become about idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also took like art history in college. It was like my minor, I guess you call it. Because I did literature and you had to like combine it with something else, and I did art history. And it taught me to appreciate medieval art in a way I didn't before, like pre-Renaissance.
Yep.
And like what they were doing, because the intention was just different, right? It was like educational and all that.
Yeah.
And it really made me appreciate that. And then when we got to more contemporary art, I think it taught me to appreciate, like you're saying, like some, but I really struggled. Like we'd go to museums with the class, and then everybody would get assigned a piece in the museum that they had to like prepare like a presentation on. And I remember I had to do a presentation on like a bunch of jugs arranged on the floor. And I was like, I don't know what to tell you about this. Like,
Yeah.
I just like, I made shit up. Like I said some fucking bullshit. And the teacher was like, oh, that's a very interesting point of view. And I'm like, this is crap. Like, come on. It's jugs on the floor.
Postmodernism has broken art.
I remember when I went to the
And a lot of
MoMA
other things.
the last time, there was a section, I can't remember what the name of the section was, but it was definitely like modern, like sculpture, modern art, whatever. And it was a piece by Yoko Ono, the Yoko Ono. And it was just an apple, like painted in like painted gold colored or something. And I'm like, seriously? Like this is it. Like literally just an apple, like just a physical apple, not even a painting of an apple, just a physical apple. And I'm like, what?
You all you have to do, or all you have to be to make that art is you have to be Yoko Ono.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah.
The rest doesn't matter. I mean, there have been, you know, I forget the artist's name. You all probably heard about the huge scandal that was Piss Christ, right?
No.
You haven't heard of Piss Christ? Okay, Piss Christ is a large tank. It's a large glass tank that has a very large crucifix with a Christ figure on the wood in the tank, and the artist pissed in the tank for 2 years every day. Every time he had to piss, he pissed in the tank, and then he displayed this. And it's interesting because if you're standing close to it, it is like Christ is sort of glowing. You know, it's got lights,
But it's
sort of.
He's in a bunch of pee.
But it's pee. It's like he's glowing in pee, right? And that was his big breakthrough thing, because of course, like all the religious fanatics lost their fucking shit about it, and it became this big thing. His next project.
There is a part of my Irish brain that likes that.
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, again, it doesn't require any skill. It's just an execution of an idea.
Yeah.
One could
Which
say
is
he was
interesting.
taking the piss out of Christ.
Could say that. His next
on him.
project I actually liked a lot as well. His next project, for a year, whenever he had to shit, he shit in a can. And every single time he shit in a can, he sealed the can with a little label, so you could tell that it hadn't been opened. And he had these really fancy labels made that said, I think in French, they said artist shit, and they were numbered. And he sold these individual cans, and I don't know, there were 100 of them or something. I don't remember.
I
Did you
can
make
take
money?
pissing on Christ, but I draw the line at crapping in cans.
Okay, all right, yeah, but I just, yeah.
How much money did this person make? A lot of money?
Oh yeah, no. He. I mean, this was also one of the things that drove me out of art when I was studying it. Is I realized it's like if you go to enough gallery openings and you get to know artists and gallery owners, you realize that the good-looking people who perform well at parties are the artists who are successful.
Yeah.
Right? It doesn't have anything to do with the art. It's purely about becoming popular, like many things. So, and I didn't want to be like a dancing bear at galleries. I wanted to do cool art. So I got out of it and made money instead.
See, both statements are true. There is a lot of money in art. People who collect at the same time, artists don't make money.
No. Gallery owners do pretty well, but
Well, I
artists
mean,
don't make much
To be
money.
fair, it's the same way with like writers of books, novels, novellas, whatever. Like there's the really popular ones, and then there's the not so popular ones, or who barely even publish one book.
Although the big difference is that books are distributed and mass produced.
True.
So like I like a book because of the book. I don't like a book because I was at a party where I met the artist.
True.
You know, and in the art world where you're selling one copy usually, there is an original, and that's what people are collecting. It becomes much more about who's cool, who's in right now, who sucked up to the right people at the right times. You know,
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
all status.
yeah, it's a big popularity contest. So, eh. Hi, Aslan. We've gone off on a tangent, or I have anyway, about the modern art world.
Matt Keane has another Xenar comment that's just, Matt, you're on fire tonight or today.
But David Blaine to try to say dunked in the piss tank for 12 hours or something, and now you're talking. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, but I mean, he could have mass produced the miniature piss tank copies. I mean, that was the cool thing about his second project, is there were, I don't remember how many, but something like 100 of these cans. So it was like he was almost mass producing them. And it was a pretty valid statement about the art world, I thought.
See, if that's art, then the people selling like bath water online could also be artists.
If they got into the right galleries, they would be. That's
Yeah.
the thing. Yeah.
Also, a lot of money in that.
A lot of
Yeah.
money in people selling their used underwear online.
Yeah. It's big in
Gotta try
Japan.
it.
Let's make it a statement.
You can buy used girls' underwear from vending machines in Japan.
Oh my
My
god.
God.
Oh my god.
I didn't need to learn that as a
Sad
new
but
fact.
Yes, please. Okay, let's talk about books, you know.
No, I
We
want to know how Matthew learned this.
I know people who've been to Japan.
Yeah.
I haven't actually been there myself. I want to go,
My friend did.
but I haven't. Yeah, exactly. I'm asking for a friend.
That makes me want to go a lot less.
Yeah. There are many other things in Japan, apparently. There may still be reasons to go there. It's not just like a line of underwear vending machines. Yeah. Japan's odd, which is a lot of the reason I would like to go, but that particular part of the oddity doesn't interest me that much. Yeah. Yes, Shadia, bathwater.
Matt.
Matt's on fire tonight, isn't he?
69%, Matt.
Yes, exactly.
Oh my god. Okay,
Yeah. Aslan
we are changing the
arrived.
topic.
Aslan arrived late, and we can change the topic. I am still reading this, Aslan, which I was reading last week and the week before, because I'm lazy fucking reader right now.
Let's flip us so you can read. Wait.
Oh, yeah.
I can do it, or you can do it. Yep, there you go. Damascus Station.
Um,
Sounds serious.
Yolanda, you can go to settings and there is a mirror camera.
She
No,
did.
But it,
It's
You,
already
you
fixed.
can just talk.
Can you read her book that she's holding up? She
Yes.
already did it.
Ah, okay.
Thank you.
And The City in the City. Yeah, cool. I would like to reread some China Miéville. It's been a
I'm
while.
reading Science Preceding the End of the World by Yuri Herrera.
Sounds optimistic.
It does, and it's decidedly not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you
I'm
learn anything? What are the
somehow
signs?
unsurprised.
So far, it's confusing a pregnant woman for a decomposing body,
Oh my god.
or the opposite. It's
That's like
confusing a
oxymoron.
decomposing body for a pregnant woman. There you go.
What?
A character saw a decomposing body, but she initially thought it was a pregnant woman.
As you do, I guess.
That's never mind.
Yeah,
Okay.
you just got to read it for context.
is that one of the books you bought us, Evie?
No, I got you 10 Planets, which is a collection of sci-fi stories, and Kingdom Cons, which is his first.
Is this from
novella.
your 40 before 40 list?
No,
And why are you reading?
because I like Yuri Herrera.
But aren't you supposed to read like one book at least per month, 40 before 40 list?
Listen,
She's a
Listen,
free
Anita.
woman, Anita.
No, she's not.
ye who is without sin, cast the first stone. Okay.
The Mask of Loki by Roger Zelazny. I have never even heard of that, and I'm a bit of a Zelazny fan.
Oh,
But I must admit, I'm a Zelazny fan mostly because I read The Chronicles of Amber multiple times and nothing else by him for a long time.
Eh,
And then Lord
Is
of Light.
that like Loki from Marvel?
I'm sure.
Or otherwise known as Loki from Norse mythology.
That's what I mean.
I'm
That's
pretty
what I
sure.
mean.
I'm pretty sure Zelazny was not writing about Loki from Marvel.
But he
You never
is from
know.
Norse. He is from Norse mythology only, right?
Sort of. Yeah. Yeah, exactly, Matt. Because of the bloating of the stomach. Yeah. Unfortunate, but true facts about dead people.
What are you all going to next after finishing current book? Sorry, I cut you off. You finish it off.
Come on, Anita.
Read next.
I'm sorry.
I
It
might
was-
actually read next. I usually don't decide. I don't have a plan. I just, when I finish a book,
Same.
I give myself a minute and then I just go look at my bookshelf and go, that kind of looks.
See, I
grabs
I
me.
can't decide whether you're mocking me or telling the truth.
I can give you a tip, Anita. If I am speaking, I am almost certainly mocking you, but it doesn't mean I'm not telling the truth. I am
Matt has
absolutely
just
telling the
described
truth.
the way I communicate.
This is why me and Carlos we're on a wavelength. We understand each other. Yeah, no, it's almost guaranteed that I'm mocking you, but it does not rule out me telling the truth as well.
I understand completely.
I may read. I was looking at it the other night. I walked past a stack of books on one of my tables, and Tori a while ago sent me The Doors of Eden by our friend Adrian Tchaikovsky. And yeah, although Children of Time, I keep also thinking I really should get to that.
Do it.
Everybody says it's so good,
Do
and
it.
I know I love his writing. So yeah.
Well, I don't know, but I've been feeling the itch to come back to Malazan now because it's been maybe 6 months.
Where are you up to?
So I'll be starting Bone Hunters. Hey,
Did you notice that I'm wearing my Bone Hunters Unwitnessed t-shirt?
Nice.
Yeah.
Thornal, that is on my list of 25 books to read this year. So I will read it, Lord of Light.
Zelazny.
Yes.
Yes.
It has Hindu mythology elements, so people ask.
It's totally Hindu mythology and quite a lot of Buddhism. I did it's actually, I think it's probably my favorite review video that I ever did. Because there's a whole weird story behind the book, like sort of related to the book. Yeah. I think Aslan's shouting at me
Yeah, I think so.
because pretty much every week Aslan asks me when I'm going to read House of Open Wounds.
Aslan, stop yelling at him. He has the wrong opinions about City of Last Chances anyways.
I have
So
the wrong opinions. I see. I think actually the fact that it's not that I haven't finished, that I haven't read DCC. I DNF'd DCC. There is a difference. And I think because I DNF'd DCC, my opinion can absolutely be trusted. It's kind of proof that I have good opinions, I think.
Except for Guns of the Dawn, but it's okay. We
I
can
loved Guns of the Dawn. The only
ending.
complaint was
The
that the
ending. You gotta
ending was
be
abrupt.
specific,
I
Anita.
didn't even say that I thought the ending was bad. It's just when you do the peak thing at the ending and then end the book one page later,
That's why it was
that
perfect.
feels very abrupt.
I think we're going to need PowerPoint presentations from both of you explaining your points of view on this issue.
Yes, and we can then vote.
Yeah.
debate. You get 5 minutes each, and then rebuttal. So
Yeah.
I was really jealous of you, Yolo. You did your reading stats video, and you were it was just a big PowerPoint presentation with you guys talking, and I was like, that's such a good idea.
She does it every year.
I know. Well, I haven't seen it before. I saw it this time for the.
Oh no, I mean, like, she would make it anyway, even before we had the channel.
Oh yeah,
She would make it anyway and present to me sitting on the
Yeah.
sofa.
Again,
Like
I
that.
DNF'd Wheel of Time proves that I actually have pretty good opinions, I think. But
Wheel of shit.
as Pete said, the solution to the weird ending of Guns of the Dawn is Guns of the Dawn 2 Electric Boogaloo. Yeah. I'd be down for that. I talked to Adrian quite a lot about it, and he was like, I'd love to write it. I don't think I can convince a publisher, considering how well it sold. I can't convince a publisher that there should be another book in that world. But he said, he's not ruling out the possibility of a future self-pub, maybe something. We'll see. It's possible. I did DNF Wheel of Time. Again, I gave it 200 pages, and it was basically a badly written Lord of the Rings, so I stopped.
Oh, you just read the 200 pages of Eye of the World, was it?
Yeah. But the series, the TV show, it was pretty weak in season 1, and it was better in season 2. And season 3 has gotten to the point where I'm like waiting every week.
Oh, nice. That's good.
I'm like, okay, when's the next episode coming out? We have to fucking know what happens.
See, okay.
It's gotten good. It's gotten really good.
Same thing with books also. I had so many complaints about the series, but five books into the series, there are elements where I am looking forward to read books. I took a break, like 1.5 years, but I want to get back to the series because of those elements, because it gets we get moved on from, like, we move on from Lord of the Rings, those elements, and it gets more into the we find more about the story of Dark Lord and these characters' journeys and the world building, everything else from book 4 onwards. It some of the elements are really interesting. That's why TV series is also getting good, and you're waiting for those episodes.
The thing that I think Wheel of Time fans don't realize is the main reason I will never read Wheel of Time is that I have talked to lots of people who have read Wheel of Time. And they tell me things like, it gets really good in book 5. And then I'm like, I'm never going to read that. anything that you have to read 4 kind of average to bad books for
And they're
before it gets
long.
good, and they're
E-
long books.
Too
Okay,
long.
I am not a Wheel of Time fan. Even book 4, book 5, people's favorites actually book 4, 5, and 6 are. Even 4 and 5, I gave like only 3.25 stars. The like highest I gave was like 4 star to book 3 and book 1. That's all. I have so many complaints, especially how he wrote female characters and some of the scenes. But uh, from book 3 onwards, 3, 4, 5, there are some scenes, world building elements which are like very very interesting, which are making me like I never thought to, though I took a 1.5 year break, I did not consider to DNF the series. I still want to read,
Just
I still
wait.
want to get
Just
to
wait until
know
you
the
get to book 8 or 9, where
yeah.
the 3-book slog begins that
maybe
all of the
maybe
fans
I'll
have told
change
me
my
about.
mind. Maybe I'll change my mind. I'm not saying that it's good or anything, but I'm saying it's at the same time it's not like there is a reason why people love it.
I'm absolutely certain that there is a reason why people love it. I think most of it is nostalgia.
Mm.
I think the vast majority of people I know who have read it a long time ago when they were stupider. And I mean, I loved the Belgarian when I read it and I was stupid. You know, the Belgarian is like the most lame, straight, boring, typical formulaic fantasy ever written, other than sort of Shannara.
Is that David Eddings?
Yeah, and it ticks all of the fantasy boxes, but it ticks them in exactly the order you expect them. You know, it's like Farm Boy, Chosen One, Wizard Guide. You know, it's got all of the.
I
All of the
will
tropes.
say that when the mood strikes me for that kind of thing, I find those very comforting. That's my cozy fantasy. So like I can go back to a book like that may not be amazing.
Mitch, when I go to prison, we can read Wheel of Time together.
I am
Yeah.
saving Malazan for that, for prison.
If Mitch and I go to prison, first of all, Mitch will be my bitch, and second of all, we'll read Wheel of Time together. There we
Just
go.
imagine if it still manages to bore you in prison.
That would be like
You can go to solitary, those like under the basement, small cells, dark cells.
Doesn't that I think the Wandering Inn would be more appropriate for that.
There will not be light in solitary.
Lost you forever. Yeah, exactly.
I love Aslan's comment of I loved Harry Potter when I was stupider and I still love it. I'm still stupid.
Fair enough. Fair enough. It's important to know what you are and who you are, you know, rather than just fighting against it.
So Yolanda, did you say what your next read is going to be potentially?
I did not, but I decide spontaneously. So I do have a couple of things that I pulled out for potential next reads, but it's entirely possible that none of them will be my next read, and I pick up something different. And by the time I finish The City and the City, I'm in the mood for something completely different.
Oh yeah, I've been saying Bone Hunters is my next read for 3 months now, but I'm just still on this break.
Yeah. I did intend, or do still intend, to reread The Cartel by Don Winslow this month. But that might go into May. Like, it's a reread. It's like will be a background read.
I was supposed to also read that.
In April? Yeah. I mean, April still has like over 2 weeks in it. It's fine.
Yeah.
You can still read it. I did pull out The Stardust Thief by Chelsea Abdullah.
Huh. I heard good things about it actually.
I'm curious.
I've heard nothing about it. Good
It's
nor bad.
Middle
I've heard
Eastern
of the
based,
name,
right?
but I don't know anything else.
Yeah.
It's a Middle Eastern inspired fantasy. She is from Kuwait, and it has like deserts and jinns and magic lamps and that kind of thing, you know, like that kind of magic.
Nice.
And it came partially because I was reading Dead House Gates and I was like, we need more deserts in fantasy. This is amazing. I love this as a setting. And I also just haven't read any fantasy written by a Middle Eastern author. And I would like to. So those are the main two reasons. But I have heard that it's good. Like, I think the second one is coming out soon or something. But yeah, that's a possible next read. But,
Let me know if you enjoy it. I really want to. I like Middle Eastern settings as well.
I'll let you know.
I have, so in the desk that we're at here, I have our little
Hi, Vera.
sci-fi masterworks cube, and this caught my eye.
Yes.
So
Chronicles of the Amber. Okay.
that's kind of how I choose what I read next. Is I'm sitting around and I just see, I'm like, oh, I'd like to read that. So maybe I won't read Bone Hunters. Maybe I'll read the first one of this. I don't know.
Nah, I mean that is one of the series that is near and dear to my heart. So I could almost forgive you for not getting into Bone Hunters if you're reading Amber.
I mean, the first book is 160 pages.
I've been rereading the Chronicles of Amber recently. I'm up to the third or fourth book, and it's like each one of them is a weekend read. You know, like they're nothing.
Yeah.
Sorry for interrupting. I agree with Arza, but Arza, that's not a Middle Eastern setting. That's just a desert setting. But only first book has desert setting. But I highly recommend that book if any of you like military fantasy. Such a great military fantasy, actually.
Cool.
Wheel of Time and Dune have deserts. Not only do they have deserts, they have the same desert because the Aiel are completely ripped off from the Fremen.
Oh my God. Wheel of shit.
Real quickly, Yolanda, just make sure that whatever you're reading, you make sure you finish it in time for April 22nd.
Absolutely, I will. And if I don't, I will pause it and drop it.
Emily Henry's new book, right? Okay.
I finally got it in my brain. It's great, big, beautiful life. Not world.
It'll take me. I'll probably read it in 24 hours. Like, I've read every one of her books, maybe 36. You'll read it in like 5.
Might take the day off work. So.
You know, I wanted to read Emily Henry book for Animal Companion Challenge, for Alan's challenge, but Emily Henry books don't have, those people don't have pets.
Nope.
At least according to Google.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, Thornall. They're ninja Fremen. The Fremen are fucking ninjas, dude. Wake up.
They are ninjas, yeah.
The ninjas, the Fremen have been ninjas ever since the Fremen were first Fremened. But yes, the Fremen are not ginger because they're basically Arabic, and they do not fight with short spears. You're absolutely correct on that. So it's a completely different thing. Forgive me, wheelies, that I said the Aiel are Fremen.
The spear cuts through sand.
Exactly. The spear cuts through spice. Yeah. I love Liam's comment. Do. I don't know what he wants us to do. I'm not sure. Just do.
There is no try.
As opposed to Vera's comment, boo, which I think is dissing our Wheel of Time opinions.
Poo.
Or it's just like boo, like hello. I always say like boo when I go to meet friends instead of hello. Like,
aha, boo, it's me.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I didn't know he. I mean, I'm sure, obviously, he probably did write. I know that Howard Andrew Jones, it's the.
Yeah.
Ah! I can see the cover in my head.
Shattered, Land of Shattered something. Land of Shattered Souls something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Andrew and
Anyways,
Nico
I didn't
highly
realize he wrote other things outside of that. So.
Okay.
Do read Amber.
Yes, do read Amber. I agree.
Oh, okay.
Amber is awesome. And many, many things. Like if you haven't read Amber, you won't realize this, but if you read Amber now, it will feel, probably a lot of it will feel unoriginal because so much stuff from Amber has been done in other books. Again, but Amber was written in the 80s and 70s even. I think the first book was 79 or 80. So yeah, there are many things. There are a lot of things in Malazan, actually, in
Cool.
later books anyway, where I was like, dude's ready Selesny.
Yeah.
Cool.
Lord of Shattered Land. Thank you, Liam.
Lord of a Shattered Land. Yes.
So, Evie, what are you reading next? Other than DCC.
Meh.
Bilbo. Where's
Uh,
Ginny? Oh wait, I see Ginny in the background. I see her. Never mind. We're good.
She's there.
She's
Crisis
Ginny,
averted.
did you take that
Mine's
name from
bigger.
Harry Potter?
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah,
Into
Ginny
the-
Weasley, because she's ginger.
Oh.
So because
I
I
know.
I named mine
also-
Fitz because
I-
she's stupid.
because I am also waiting for April 22nd. I either might get a head start on May's book club pick and read Annihilation, 'cause it's shorter. Or I might read The Word for World is Forest by Ursula K. Le Guin.
Which is good.
Read Too Like the Lightning. Or other
Which is
stupid book
better.
Kyle and Jake gave you. Why don't
I've
you?
already we've already agreed. Kyle and Jake have allowed me to call a mulligan on those, and they have told me that they either forgot that our TBR swap thing was or I don't know, TBR
Swap?
agreement was a thing, or they were like, I figured it you were gonna call a mulligan anyways, and Kyle was like, yeah, and I've basically decided I've won on this. I'm like, okay, cool. No pressure.
I'm really, really curious, actually, whether, because I think you would either love Terra Ignota or maybe not connect to it at all.
She has been reading it from like past 4 months. She's like maybe read like 30 pages. So we
Oh,
are
no,
past that.
I read more
Okay.
than 30 pages. I am 5 chapters in. I don't. I'm
Just not clicking with it.
It is not clicking with me
And you
at all.
haven't DNF'd it yet?
I mean, the only reason I was not DNFing it is because it was the Kyle Jake TBR thing. But
Oh,
so
that is a pity. For anybody who has not read Terra Ignota, let me just say, Evie is wrong,
well, so here's the thing.
and you should read Terra Ignota. It's really
I
good.
recognize
Oh my goodness.
I recognize its brilliance. I'm just not either. It's my headspace that I've been in for the past 4 months. My reading taste.
I get it.
Slightly,
I'm the same way
or
with.
I am just not there.
I'm exactly the same way with City of Lost Chances. Like I read
can't
it.
allow that though because
look at
I
it
love
and I'm
that
like,
book. Just because I love that book, that's not allowed, Matt. So
okay. And does it count that I love Terra Ignota?
no,
of
it's
course
do as
not.
I say, not as I do. That's
I get
that's
it.
the way it's the way it works. I'm just kidding.
I get it. That's the way it is. Okay.
It's good to see that somebody else is a villain instead of me for once.
Yeah.
Gotta
Evie
take that
will
target
not
off your
like
back
To Like the
sometimes,
Lightning.
Anita.
Yeah. Well, apparently Evie does not like To Like the Lightning.
It's not
And
that I
that's-
don't like it. It's just that
That's a
I
pity.
am whelmed by it, which is
Oh.
not the greatest.
Well,
Oh, interesting.
Only whelmed, not over or under, just whelmed.
Like
That means it's like a 2.5 book or a 3.
yeah, like it's not. I'm not excited to read it, but I'm not hating it at the same time. So like, it's not something that I'm drawn to. I don't know,
Damning with
it's
faint
a
praise.
weird thing.
No, Ursa, I have not picked up Perhaps the Stars yet. I'm still a little intimidated. It's like the Terra Ignota series is a 4-book series, and the 4th book is bigger than the 2nd and 3rd books put together. It's
Oh.
like it's a fucking doorstop. So I keep looking at it and going,
Are you doing that Words of Light and Shadow read along?
I started it, but to be honest, and I know Ida is going to lose her shit in the comments, I was not gripped by the first book of Wars of Light and Shadow. I didn't DNF it, I WFL'd it.
what the
Maybe.
fuck is that?
Will finish later, otherwise known as waffle. I waffled it.
Waffled it.
Yeah, I waffled it. Where I just thought, okay, I am definitely not in the headspace at sort of wrong wrong brain, wrong time. And I don't know, it somehow didn't grab me as much as I was hoping it would. I was really enthusiastic and excited to see how it went, and it just didn't grab me. And Ida is not mad. I'm very surprised.
I am disappointed. That will be next line. Oh,
She's mad but not angry. Yeah. We
Okay.
knew that. We knew that already. All good. Perhaps the stars is big, but it's also very, very good. Yeah, I expect it to be. I mean, like Terra Ignota, the first 3 books of Terra Ignota are
Marianne.
a process of a really, really epic world-shifting drama and change coming, and of course it comes in the last book. So I'm very I'm really interested to read it, but yeah, it's just I think I need a smaller book after this. After this, my puny little computer person arms are already tired just from holding this up while I read it, you know. I need something maybe slightly slimmer and lighter. Maybe.
Have you read any of the other Erickson books outside the Books of the Fallen?
Not yet.
Right.
His Star Trek-ish books sound like I would probably hate them. Kind of like.
Is that the Will something willful?
Yeah. What's it called? I forget. Willful Child. Yeah, is his Star Trek-ish, his ode to Star Trek, sort of. And I think one of the things about that book and some of his other books is I like his humor a lot, mixed in with all of the other shit.
Yeah.
But a book that is just his humor, I'm not sure I would get into that so much. And I'm not that big a Trekkie. Like, I like Trek, but I'm just not that into it. So a book that is primarily about that kind of,
So are you gonna read, do you reckon after you do the Esselman, you'll read like Forge of Darkness and God is Not Willing? And...
I'm doing the ultimate reading order.
Right.
So
there is ultimate reading order.
There is an ultimate reading order. So this is actually, I'm inserting this into the Malazan Book of the Fallen where it kind of belongs. So I read Reaper's Gale. I'm reading this now. Then I go back to, I think, the Book of the Fallen for Toll the Hounds. Actually, I think for the rest of the Book of the Fallen. And then I will read all of the novels of the Malazan Empire by Esselmont. And then I will read Path to Ascendancy and all of that.
Yeah.
I
think outside the 10, obviously I have to finish the 10, but I think the Path to Ascendancy books interest me most.
Yeah. I'm really interested in seeing how Dancer and Kellenbed got to be where they get to be without any spoilers. I think that's probably a very, very, very interesting. Yes, Orza. Of course I did. The Broken Binding. I got the first 3. They're on my shelf over there. I can't reach them. Otherwise, I would show them to you. But I don't love you that much, and I'm lazy.
I have yet to receive mine.
Seriously?
Really?
Yeah, I bought them on release day or on the when the order went up.
Really?
They still haven't shipped them to me yet.
Kath in Australia got hers.
You're like neighbor.
Yeah, it's because I'm Irish, you know.
Have you emailed them by chance?
I emailed them yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you could almost drive over and pick it up.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not that far away.
I mean, in the time that it's taken them, you could have swum over.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's an issue they had with batch 3, which clearly I'm in batch 3. It seems I'm in batch 10. But apparently, like a last few in batch 3 didn't arrive on time or something. But I emailed them. We'll see what they say.
Thornall, Empire of Silence. I remember Empire of Silence being kind of slow, certainly to start with. It's been a little while, and I kind of binged the entire series. That was more of a case of just getting a series at exactly the right time and being in exactly the right kind of frame of mind for it. But I would say if you get to the end of Empire of Silence and you're not really that into it, then I would just drop the series, because there are some things in later books that are super fucking epic, but it's probably not worth it if Empire of Silence doesn't click with you. That would be my advice.
Steve, I am planning to read my Dandelion Broken Binding editions.
Hi, Steve. Would I risk reading a Broken Binding edition, or are they mostly for display? Yeah, I'd read them.
I'd read them. They're books.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've read. I have a Folio Society edition of Something Wicked This Way Comes and Princess Bride, and I've read those. I've got Folio Society Dune, which I haven't read yet, but I would when next I read.
I'd read the fuck out of a pretty book. That would just add to the experience.
Exactly. And there's, to be honest, like, if you get a Folio Society book and you get a Broken Binding book, it's really clear that a Broken Binding book is a medium special quality.
Yeah.
They're pretty, but they're not super well made.
Medium to low, I would say.
Yeah. They're
Especially paper quality.
Yeah, they're not that special.
This is something that bothers me, because often it's like the sprayed edges, and I don't care about sprayed edges. It's probably a thing I care about the least with a special edition. And you'll have like nice dust jackets, and then you get the book, and the actual quality of the book is just not good. And to be fair, like it's just a standard UK hardcover quality, which they're usually just not great.
Yeah.
And then they've just sprayed the edges and given it a new dust jacket.
Yeah. And for the price they are charging, it's like way less. Suppose for those illustrated Farsi editions, Evie just dropped. She sent me signed by Hob actually. Those are so heavy, the paper quality is so thick, and they're not that expensive. Whereas Broken Binding edition,
they have nice illustrations in them as well.
Yeah, paper quality is like very, very poor, with just sprayed edges, and they charge more.
Yeah, I'm definitely not a collector snob. Like, I buy pretty versions of books I love because I love the books.
Yeah,
and I will read them. But I'm also a designer, and I know about design, and I know about material quality. And when I have a Folio Society in my hand and I have a Broken Binding in my hand, the difference in quality is very obvious.
Yeah.
Like the Folio Society books are well made, and they're made out of good materials, and they're also really well designed. You know, they're really nice books.
We have an edition of Lord of the Rings, and like I think, is it Harper Collins that publishes those nice hardbacks of Tolkien books now?
Yeah, with the slipcase and the window.
Some of those are, that's a good one. But there's some of those that they publish now with the art, the Alan Lee kind of that art on the cover. Those are pretty. They're not amazing quality. But we have another edition.
They have degrees of, like, you can get Lord of the Rings and degrees of like quality.
But then there's some that, like, the paper is the paper quality of an art book, like one of those Taschen art books. And like, that's high quality special edition, you know?
Yeah. I've got the one. Well, no, I haven't got the one you're talking about. I've got the one you're talking about, but from like 20 years ago or 30 years ago, there was an edition. It's like the silver anniversary or something, and edition, and it's one volume with all of Lord of the Rings and like a whole bunch of Alan Lee illustrations. It's much better quality than hardbacks are today, but I think it's normal quality for hardbacks 40 years ago, 30 years ago.
Right.
They were better quality at one point. It's got a cloth spine and good, really solid boards and pretty good paper quality, although it's very thin because it's such a huge book. But yeah, the slipcase ones with the window, they are really nice quality. I like those a lot. I've got a couple of those. I haven't got a full set yet.
Is gorgeous.
Yeah, I've got I try to remember. I screwed up and I bought. I'm just looking at my shelf. I think I've got The Hobbit with a window, and I've got the Lord of the Rings 1 volume with a window, and then I bought the Silmarillion online, and it looked like the same thing, and it's a slipcase but not with a window. And there is one with a window which wasn't out at the time, so now I don't know. I may get the Silmarillion as well, just to have the full set. But yeah,
we have them all in different editions. I think we have 3 different Lord of the Rings editions, 2 in 1 volume. One is the one that they came out with a couple of years ago for whatever anniversary it was.
That's the one with the
was
window.
it like the anniversary of Tolkien's? I don't remember. But
the red one?
It's the red one. Yeah, it has like illustrations by Tolkien. Then we have the one in 1 volume.
the red leather-ish one volume with the slipcase.
That one.
Yeah, I've got that one.
Yeah. We have that one. Then we have the Alan Lee illustrations in 1 volume and in 3 volumes in the box set with The Hobbit.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've got too many editions.
No such thing.
Enough that I actually did a video on it at one point, which is still the most, my favorite video that anyone, or most viewed video of anything I ever did. One version I like is a box set of 3 different books with a reader's companion, and all of them have covers actually drawn by Tolkien.
Cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, but it's hardcovers. It's like a box set hardcovers, and they're all kind of slim. Although my favorite for reading is the Johan Egerkrans covers, which is relatively recent. It was done in Sweden. He's a Swedish illustrator. It was done in Swedish first, all of them, like Lord of the Rings, 3 books, Hobbit, and Silmarillion. And then for some reason, they only released those covers in English for Lord of the Rings, not for the other 2 books. But they're really pretty, and they're mass market, which the other paperbacks I have are not. They're trade, tiny. Did anyone get the Hyperion? Yes, I ordered the Hyperion book.
I ordered it. Yeah. Don't have it yet. Don't know when they're going to send it.
No, it hasn't. That was quite recent. That was like 2 weeks ago or something. Yeah. What company does the highest quality? I have no idea. It's probably the one with the highest prices. I don't know. I've never gotten a what are they called? I'm blanking on the name now. Does a lot of fantasy special editions, but they're crazy expensive.
Subterranean
Press, or Curious King. Or is it Curious King or?
And Grimoire does expensive.
Grimoire does some,
and Eastern Press something. That also does very expensive, like $700 or something. Yeah,
I definitely. I mean, I have some money. I'm not poor, but I also have a limit where I'm just like, that's a ridiculous amount. If you're a collector and you're planning on selling this in 20 years for 10 times the price, I get it.
Yeah, see, the kind of thing I would do for my one favorite book of all time.
Yeah,
maybe but like a one-off thing.
But I even have say The Shadow of the Wind. I bought a nice special anniversary edition in Spain when we were there last time, but it was €25. And I'm like, that's reasonable for me.
25 is reasonable, actually.
Yeah, 25 is just a hardback.
Yeah, and it's good quality.
It's very good quality.
It's better quality than your usual hardback.
Yeah.
If somebody does the special edition for LPQ, I would spend that kind of hundreds of dollars, but that's it. Other than that, I won't do it for any other.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Yeah,
think I've really got that collector bug.
Yeah, same.
I fell in a little bit with comics for a little bit, but even at that, I sold a lot that I bought as well. And I don't know, we collect a lot, obviously, but it's all like shit we're reading, and not. It's like shitty paperbacks. So like just like any
Sure.
reader, just having books, but not hunting down a certain edition. And I don't think we've ever really.
I've only in the last couple of years, like most of my life up until about 4 years ago, I wasn't certain what house I was going to be living in next year. Like because I just been moving pretty constantly all the time. And when I moved into this place, I was like, okay, fuck it. I want to stay here for a while.
Mhm.
I got a bookshelf built in, like
Nice.
attached to the wall all the way up to the ceiling. It's across from my TV or my monitor right now. And then I was like, I could actually buy a somewhat fancy book, maybe like a book I really like. I can allow myself that. I'm worth it. So
Yeah.
no, I've bought a few Folio Society and Broken Binding, and I've also got those Hob editions that Anita was talking about, and like I've got about 1.5 meters of Tolkien editions. I measure my books in meters these days. So I'm thinking I might call it because it's getting to be close to 11 here and close to 10.
Pub's closing.
Pub's closing, exactly. Last call. Oh, okay. Mariana's got some subpress of the Babel series.
Nice.
Yeah, LPQ.
I
Broken
really
Binding edition.
want someone else to do LPQ because it is my favorite series. I want good quality, but even Broken Binding editions, I'll definitely buy if they do it.
Yeah, it would be. They're really. I mean, the only fancy special-ish anything I've ever bought is either Folio Society or Broken Binding, and there's just such a. It's so fucking obvious. Like if you pull out a Folio Society and a Broken Binding, you have the Folio Society in one hand. You're like, oh, this is better. Like,
Yeah.
It's just so clearly the quality and everything is better. I like seeing Folio Society editions of books I love. I'm thinking about ordering their Frankenstein, and I need to get their Children of Dune because I've already got the first 2 Dunes, and I need to get the third one just because that's all they've done so far. I assume they're going to do God Emperor one day.
I mean, not now. I'm not ready, but when I'm ready, I really want to get Folio Earthsea and
Yeah,
if possible Howl's Moving Castle.
yeah,
Cool.
yeah. They've got really gorgeous editions of a lot of books. Yeah. Anyway, thank you everybody. Thank you for joining on screen. Good to see StoryTube here for the first time.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having
Yeah, pleasure. You're invited anytime. Thank you everybody in the chat. Actually, a few new people that I don't remember seeing before, like Steve Donahue. And always good to have new people and different people in the chat. Enjoy whatever you're reading. Enjoy your week. And again, I announced it last week. I'll say it again this week. Next week, I am off being a nerd in a different way, but out of town. So I will not be running the pub next Sunday.
Closed.
Pub is closed next Sunday, but we'll be back the Sunday after that. And keep an eye on the Fireside Discord, my channel, and I'll be announcing all of that kind of stuff there. Good to see you all. Have a good 2 weeks, and I'll
Bye,
see
chat.
you in the pub in 2 weeks.